Hi guys, I'm back again. I know 2 videos in 2 days, 3 videos actually in 2 days. It's too many, but I had a few days off and I figured I would go ahead and do what I promised last night, which was a basic smoky eye, but I'm gonna do something different instead. I'm gonna do, my eyebrows look different. You can tell this one is a little more what I would consider a casual eyebrow. This one's a little more carved out. I'm gonna do a daytime smoky eye over here, and I'm gonna add a little bit to it to make it a nighttime smoky eye over here. So, you know, you can kind of go from work to out, or, you know, get the general idea with, I'm gonna drink some of my tea too. So you can get the general idea of how you can do a little kind of a regular version and an amped up version. I am going to use the Too Faced palette that I talked about yesterday. I know I said I might do something else, but I'm kind of obsessed with that one right now, so I'm just going to do that one. And I'll start with just tiniest bit of contour. I already did my eyebrows and my foundation because I've done that in another video. I didn't put any concealer on because I'm just kind of gonna live with the dark circles, and I'm okay with that. They're not as dark as they used to be. I think my serum that I'm using from Posh is working, and my caffeine stick is working, and so I'm not gonna worry as much about them. Tiny bit of highlight right here on the top of the cheek. Tiny bit, it's a big old bunch of highlight, but I like to be highlighted. I'll blend it in a minute. Down the center of my nose. I don't usually contour the sides of my nose. Not gonna start today. And Cupid's bow. And then the teeniest bit of contour on a tiny little brush underneath. Makes your lip look a little pouty, and I like to look a little pouty. So I'm going to take a bigger powder brush for a second and just kind of blend in that contour a tiny bit. I think that this color that I picked is working for me much better than previous colors that I've found. It's the Makeup Forever palette that I made for myself with, I picked a color that would be, you know, Dirty Taupe. And I picked a highlighter color, and I picked just an eyeshadow base color because I thought that that was a better way to spend my money than to keep buying palettes that didn't really have everything that I needed. And then they had like 2 colors I could use and 6 colors I couldn't, and it just didn't make any sense to do that anymore. So now I'll go in with a little bit of blush. I'm using my Too Faced Baby Love blush. I also talked about that in a video I just put up. I'm kind of obsessed with these. I bought all 6 of them. I know that that seems like a ridiculous amount of blush to buy, but I feel like you can't ever be too blushy. I like to be blushy. And I like to have a lot of different color choices. I will wear a purple blush. I will have worn a blue blush. And I've used a blue blush for contour before. And a purple, I think. But so I'll get use out of it. And then, you know, I don't normally do it, but just to show it on a video, I think I'll pop on a little bit of bronzer. I don't know how I feel about bronzer. I know that it's supposed to make you look a little more alive. I don't know if it really does that for me. Do my hairline, do just this little area between my highlight and my blush. Do down here. Give me some sort of a jawline. Like I said, I don't really know if that does a ton for me, but I'm still gonna look very pale. Not Casper pale, but pretty darn pale, no matter what I try. So I'm kind of stuck with that, and I work with it. So using this Stardust palette, I am going to lay down an all over color, which is going to be Millennial right there. I'm gonna lay that down. Actually, I take that back. That's a lie. I'm going to put chandelier over my whole eye, and I'm going to find a brush that I want to do that with. I'm going to use just a flat brush like this, and I'm going to put chandelier over my whole eye. All the way up. Because we're going to get pretty smoky later, and I don't want to start with too dark of a color as a base, because we're going to be laying some dark stuff down, and I don't want it to get muddy. So all over. I did not put an eyeshadow primer on before I did this. I ran a little foundation over my eyes. I'm not going to actually be wearing this makeup out because it's rainy. Don't want to go anywhere. This is the third time I've done my makeup today, so I'm not really going anywhere with this. So the primer's not the biggest deal ever. Now I am going to go in with Millennial and some sort of a taper brush. This one, a soft crease brush of some sort. This one has lots and lots of colors in it. When you see me look over to the side, I'm cleaning my brush in my little Veramona color switch, which I love. It is on Amazon. It is worth the money that it costs. I don't always think that about those kinds of items. I'm putting this in the crease. Sometimes I think, I don't really need that thing. It's not really going to do all that much. But actually it saves me tons of time in brush washing to have it. So, for continuity's sake, I'm using the exact same colors on both eyes, and I'm just going to amp up one. So, the eye I'm working on right now is our daytime eye. And I'm going to go ahead and finish the daytime eye mostly now that I have the beginning of the nighttime eye done, because we're not going to have that much more to do to it. I think I'm going to take a slightly darker Girls Night and a slightly thinner crease brush to get that right in the crease. I know you shouldn't blow on your brushes, but I don't use my brushes on anybody else but myself, and I wash them all the time. So nobody call the hygiene department or the Department of Cosmetology and tell them they need to come check on me because I'm blowing on my brushes. It's quite all right. And I'm just going to build that color up a little bit, especially in this corner, so I start to get kind of the shape that I want, which for me is sort of an elongated kind of an oblong sort of, an elliptical sort of a shape. It's an ellipse sort of over here that I make for my particular eye shape, which is a little bit hooded. And this eyebrow I have a little less filled in, so I have a little more eye area to work on there. I think that now I am going to go in with Double Tap, which is this burgundy-ish sort of a color, and I'm going to use the same little brush. I'm not even going to clean it, and I'm just going to go right in that crease again with this burgundy color. What you want with a smoky eye more than anything else is depth of color. And the way that you're going to get that is to lay a few colors over each other. You're not going to take just the darkest color you can find and rub it all around your eye and call it a day. You're really going to do a little bit of layering of colors. And then what I would do is take a clean, fluffy brush and kind of smoke out just the edges of this a little bit so I don't have a line. And since this is, like I said, more of a daytime eye, I'm not going to put a whole bunch of shadow underneath my eye. I am going to put a little in a minute, but I'm not quite there yet. So let's see. I didn't look at any of these colors beforehand because that would ruin all the fun of trying to do it in the moment. So I'm going to take a little bit of Selfie, which is this color, on a tiny little brush and put it just right here in my inner tear duct area, just to brighten up that eye a little. It sounds like there's a dog that wants to get in my room, but I'm really not, I'm not looking for any Chihuahua help at the moment. I'm going to darken this just a little bit more, so I think we can smoke it out just a tad more with that double tap color. And make sure to get that V area really good. Okay, now I'm going to take a pencil brush, any kind of a pencil brush, and some actual black. Any black will do, it just has to be matte and not shiny. And I'm going to do just my crease and the V right here. So just on the outside of my eye, just this V area. I'm not going to do any on the inside corner of my eye, just out here. Okay, and I'm going to take my blending brush again and just blend all of that together, going in toward the inner part of my eye rather than out here. If I blended it out this way, it's going to get higher and higher and higher and become much more than I want it to be. So I'm just going to do that out here. Now I'll take what's left on this pencil brush. I haven't added any shadow to it, and I'm just going to run it along. Actually, I'm going to mix a little bit of double tap and then a little bit of the black, and run it along. And that's kind of where we are right now with our eye. I feel like I need just a little bit, bring my shadow up just a tiny bit right here and blend it just a little more. So I'm going to do that, and that's what you'll get there. And so for daytime, really, we're done with shadow, and we're at the point where I wouldn't even put on eyeliner with this particular look. With this one, if I were going to work with this, I would go ahead and just put on my mascara, which in this case is going to be Perversion, and I'm going to use the primer that comes with it. Perversion is my new best friend right now. I really, 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 really love it. I could probably say really a few more times, but I really, 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 really love it. If you wanted to make this a little more of a fun daytime look, you could put a little pop of color in this little bit of eye area that we have towards the inner corner of the eye, which on the other side, I'm going to put some black. I almost bought a thing at Sephora yesterday that looked like an eyelash rake. I had it in my hand in the line, and I was like, I don't need this thing. I'm not ever going to rake through my eyelashes. But now I'm thinking maybe I needed it. I don't know. We'll think about it some more. Maybe it'll end up in my basket next time. Maybe I'll try it with the 2-day flash shipping that I have now that I'm rouge. Hoo-hoo. Okay, so on to eye 2. We've basically laid down the same starter crease color. We're going to take a similar, the exact same crease brush as we took last time. Actually, I'm cleaning it off. And what I did to darken that is put a little Girls Nite, which was this darker brown color. So we'll do the same. We're going to put in some Girls Nite in that crease. And if you continue to use increasingly darker colors with your brush, You can use the same brush and just wipe it off. If you're going to go back and forth between dark and light colors, you really, really need different brushes. Many people ask me, how do they keep their eyeshadow just from looking muddy and looking like all the same color? And that is really the thing. You're using one brush all of the time, and it's making your eyes look, for lack of a better word, muddy. Now we're going to take a little bit of Double Tap, that same burgundy sort of color, and we're going to put that in the crease as well. And I am using this bigger brush because we want a little bit more concentration of color for the nighttime look than we did for the daytime look. So I'm going a little more out there with it, and I'm blending it a little bit higher than I did on the other eye. Now for this one, I'm going to go ahead and take, while we're doing it, take some Girls Night. I have another kind of a skinny brush, skinny, pointy, anything pointy. I actually have another little crease brush. I'm going to take a little of Girls Night and go ahead and lay that down under my eye now. And also a little bit of Double Tap, and go ahead and lay that down under my eye now. Some people do employ a piece of tape when they do an eye shape like this. I've never been a big fan of the tape, probably because I just don't feel like I have to be that precise. But if you are a precision sort of a person, you could get yourself a little piece of tape and put it right here and pull it off when you're done. Now, if you do that, you have to put your foundation on after your eyeshadow. And a lot of people do that anyway, so that's no big deal. I use a lot of, I kind of feel like eyeshadow is where I like to spend my money on more expensive items. And I try to buy eyeshadows that don't have a ton of fallout, so that I'm not going to have a ton of eyeshadow all over my face when I'm finished. Now, I'm going to take this pointed, more dense crease brush that I just used. I'm going to go into the black, which is called Sin City in this particular palette, Sin City right here. It's just a basic matte black. Any matte black will do. I'm going to smoke out my outer V. All the way kind of halfway into the crease, and on the lash line a little bit. That's not going to matter so much in a little while, so don't worry if it's a tiny bit messy. And I'm going to do that until it's the depth of darkness that I would like it to be. And I'm going to run it along that bottom lash line as well. Okay, I think that's about what I want. Now I'm going to take this and put it in the inside corner of my eye as well, this black color. And we're kind of right here on this inside corner. And I'm going to meet on the top with the pinker, the redder colors. And I'm going to take my my blending brush and blend that through and around. And basically what you would do is continue to do this until you have the depth of color that you would like to have with your black. As smoky as you would like to be, go for it. I'm always a little more careful in this inside corner, so sometimes that ends up a little lighter than I would want it. All right, now, the only thing left to do to this eye that is different than the other, now that we've done two things different. We've brought the black out much further than we did in the original eye. We put more of it than we did in the original eye, and we put some in our inside corner. Now I'm going to take this color Showgirl, this one, and I'm going to tap this on the middle of the inside of my eyelid. I don't really need to blend, I just need to tap. I'll take the other side of the brush to tap a little bit, and if you get too far into your black, just take your little pencil brush and go right over that edge again with your black. It's still there. And if you make a mistake that you just can't live with, you can fix it with concealer. But I feel like a smoky eye can be a little bit of a grungy kind of a look and still be fine. Now I'm also going to take a tiny bit of this Showgirl and pat it on the underside of my eye in the same area that I did the top. Now, I feel like this eye, for me, is not as black as I would like it to be. So I'm going to take a little more black, tap it off, do one more little pass of black above that Showgirl, and make sure that I'm really nice and smoked out everywhere. And after every time that I add more black, I go in and I smudge that edge a little bit to make sure that I don't have like a line of demarcation. Okay, so basically what we have is a daytime eye and then a much deeper, glitzier nighttime eye. If you wanted to go one step further, you can use any sort of glitter or glamour powder or glitzy stuff of any variety. I have a little silicone brush that grabs glitzy things, but you don't really need that. You can do it without. But I felt like that added a little bit of glamouriness to it. This glitter does seem to have a bit of, it's micro pigmented, so it's very small. It does have a little bit of fallout though. So if it bothers you to have a little bit of glitter under your eyes, put a little something there before you do it, or just be quite careful when you're putting it there so that I did not know that that brush still had something on it. I thought it was clean, but that suits my purposes anyway. For brightening up the inside of that eye with a little bit of gold. Okay, so smoky eye is done. I feel like if I were going to wear this out, I would probably take some very light powder and put it underneath my eyes. And I don't know what, I might even use my super white Ben Nye, which is super white. But I'm just going to use what's left and it'll be a mix of the super white and the Cameo. I'm going to use what's left in my little bowl and just pat it right there to lighten up and get rid of any little fallouty sort of things that looked like they were there. Now, we're not quite finished with the smoky eye. If you notice, I haven't put on any mascara yet. I'm going to do one coat on the bottom very quickly. Hopefully you can see that while I'm doing that. I'm not exactly sure if my camera is catching everything when I look down. I'm going to put a light coat on the top. You have to make that mouth. It's the law. If once you get all of the rest of this on your face, you feel like, geez, my cheeks just really aren't blushy enough, you can go a little heavier on the side with the heavier makeup, just to give yourself a little bit more definition. but I feel like when you have this much eye going on, you have plenty happening. Now, if we wanted to take this one step further, we could then get a false eyelash. We would use two, but I'm only going to put one on the one eye. So I'm going to take my false eyelash. I know I have this cute little thing. It was very cheap. I got it from House of Lashes, I think. I can't ever be sure where I've bought eyelash things. And so I have my little eyelash, and it's on a very thin band. Those are the kind that I like. I don't care what the lash looks like. I care more about the band. And the super thick band lashes are very hard to use. I feel like if you're going to splurge somewhere with lashes, splurge on your glue. That eyelash glue that comes with the eyelashes is like a scourge. And when people tell me they have problems with eyelashes, they're almost always using that little squeeze thing of glue that comes with eyelashes. It's horrendous. This is what you should use instead. Alright, so I am going to go ahead and just sit this eyelash on because I do it all the time. I don't need like a grippy thing, but if you need a grippy thing, feel free to employ a grippy thing. And I'm going to just kind of press my lashes together so that they're all together. And that, as you can see, is a much more glamorous look. I am going to stop the camera right now and make sure that it has gotten all of this, and then I will come back for lipstick. Okay, surprisingly it did cooperate with me, and it has done everything that I would like it to do so far. So I'm going to, I think I'm going to zoom in, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm just turning other things. I don't really know what I'm doing sometimes with this camera. I will zoom in with my own face and show you what I have going on here now. Okay, so the last thing you could do if you wanted to add just a teeny bit more oomph